Trust the plan. At least that's what I'm doing because there's not really any other option other than freaking out on Twitter. But it's been 2 days and we've already seen several countries capitulate to Trump's tariffs. U.S. automakers agreeing to increase production in the United States, and a massive new job report, nearly doubling what the market was expecting. Sure, the stock market, maybe don't look at it this week. Maybe don't look at it today. Although it is mounting a bit of a comeback, we'll have to see. And of course, everyone out there who are living off their 401ks and in retirement, I understand this kind of thing is hard to just kind of chill and wait. But if I can provide any kind of perspective, it's been 2 days. And these tariffs don't even go into place until next week, until a week from today. Do you know why they don't go into place in many of these places till like April 10th or 11th or 12th or whatever? It's to give nations time to negotiate, and we're already seeing that. I truly believe that that we can be again a nation of manufacturing, a nation of better deals for the American businesses. But it's going to take some temporary pain. Will the stock market just continue to go up and up and up? I don't know. I'm not an investor. Do I think that Tesla should be dropping every month and Google and Apple and Amazon? Nah, that's not going to continue. I don't have a lot of extra money to invest, but I continue to invest in lowering my average cost per share because I believe that the long term is that things will look better. China with its retaliatory 34% tariff today, everybody freaking out about it, but allow me to provide some perspective on that as well. Let's get into the job report. By the way, speaking of tariffs, as you guys know, my sponsor is Meta PCs, promo code The Quartering. If you're in the market for a new computer and you're worried about the tariffs, Meta PCs put out this tariffs on PC components go into effect on April 5th, with more increases coming April 9th, 10 to 50%, depending on origin. We've got enough inventory to hold current pricing for now, but that window won't last forever. Please a heads up if you're building soon. So promo code The Quartering, you'll save. And, if you want to, get out in front of any uncertainty, now would probably be a good time to pick up your computer. Now, March jobs report was estimated at 140,000. Actual, 228,000, nearly double.
Yeah, 228,000 jobs added in the month of March. That is better than estimated. 228,000 versus the 140,000 that had been estimated here. The unemployment rate, though, ticking up to 4.2%. That was unexpected here. The labor force participation rate ticking up as well to 62.
That may be, I don't know what all bakes into that number, but that may be as a result of massive government layoffs.
And 0.5%. Average hourly earnings coming in bang in line with estimates on a month-over-month basis, 0.3%. On a year-over-year basis, a little bit lower than estimated at 3.8%. Also want to point out the 228,000 that we got for the month of March compares with a revised number of 117,000 for the month of February. That is a downward revision for the February number here.
They always revise
Manufacturing
it down.
payrolls at 1,000, private payrolls overall at 209,000.
Now you see, the beginning of the new American Golden Age. This is what I voted for. Side note, that's worth 250. That's with the 250,000 plus government jobs cut. That's probably baked into the unemployment numbers. But this is, we are talking about changing the future of this country, not just, people instantly who are already making a bunch of money in the stock market, making a bunch more. That's not what these changes that Trump is trying to do. You see, this U.S. job growth explodes in major win for Trump. Job growth accelerated sharply in March, greatly surpassing analysts' expectation, while unemployment saw a modest uptick. According to Friday's employment report of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. economy added 250,000 jobs in March compared to just 117,000 in February, which was revised from initial estimate of 151,000. This reading specifically exceeds the consensus forecast of analysts compiled by Trading Economics, who had anticipated only 135,000 jobs being added in March. Now, will 228,000 be marked down, revised on 195,000? Probably, but that's always the case. Unemployment edged up from 4.2% to 4.1%. The stronger than expected results will likely be viewed by the administration as evidence that Trump's economic policies are already starting to deliver results, while alleviating concerns that the U.S. labor market might be suffering under his agenda. Economists have told Newsweek previously that softening of the labor market conditions, combined with weak levels of consumer confidence and wider uncertainty gripping the business community as a result of Trump's tariffs, could attribute to fears of recession. Well, as of right now, at least in February, that hasn't been the case. Now, to be fair, in March, the issue is, the tariff stuff really only heated up here in April. So we're going to have to look at kind of employment numbers in April and whether or not, businesses believe in what's going on with the tariffs. But let me show you a couple things. Speaking of tariffs. Now, you could argue these aren't the biggest markets in the world. Sure. But as you can see, many nations already revising their tariffs. Again, the China one is big, but remember that we're at a trade deficit with China. You see, Cambodia cuts tariffs on select U.S. imports to just 5%, down from 35%. Gee, would you look at that? You also look at the jobs we added. There are other, General Motors increasing production in Indiana, which we're going to talk about. I think Javier Milei also negotiated zero tariffs with the United States. I mean, it's going to take time for this kind of stuff to actually bake out. Watch this. Breaking: General Motors is increasing production in Indiana after President Trump's tariffs. Gee, I wonder what that translates to. Probably more American jobs, right? Let's go to this. Exclusive: GM to increase truck production in Indiana. Why truck production in Indiana instead of Canada and Mexico? What a coincidence. It's almost like tariffs work. It's almost like, this stuff matters. It's almost like Trump knew what he was doing. Meanwhile, Reuters is begging me for money. Well, I think I can find a lot of different places to read this story, but let's give them a second to see if anyone's archived it, because we always want to make sure that no one's, changed anything after the fact. GM to increase production at Fort Wayne plant, 225 to 250,000 jobs. 225 to 250 jobs to be added at the Fort Wayne plant. Temporary workers also to be hired on as operational adjustments. GM plans to increase production of light-duty trucks in Fort Wayne, Indiana assembly plant. It said in a webcast to plant employees on Thursday, which was viewed by Reuters after President Trump announced 25% tariffs on auto imports. From a Mexico perspective, we do build trucks in Mexico and in Canada and in the United States. We also have capacity in the United States to shift some of that, Barr said in January earnings call. I mean, Fort Wayne plant makes Chevrolet Silverado, GMC Sierra trucks. I mean, this is what winning looks like. It's going to take some time. It's going to take time for a lot of this stuff to, cook off a little bit. I think it was Javier Tariffs. I think Javier Milei. I want to fold that up. Let's see. I have to double check that, I guess. I thought I saw it this morning, Javier Milei, but then I thought I retweeted it. Also, President Trump now urging Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to cut interest rates, arguing that it would support the economy as his tariff policies take effect. It's true, it would be nice to not see the stock market lose, 10,000 points in a single day or whatever the case is. It would be nice to see, it be 2,000, to have it like, it wasn't 10,000, but to have, something to counteract as things kind of take effect here. Trump says this would be the perfect time for Fed Chairman Jerome Powell to cut the interest rates. He is always late, but he could now change his image and quickly. Energy prices are down. Interest rates are down. Inflation is up. Even eggs are down. Inflation is down. Even eggs are down 70% and jobs are up all within 2 months. A big win for America. Cut interest rates, Jerome. Stop playing politics. Yeah, I mean, I would say that would be very, very good. If he cuts those, you would see the market immediately respond. You see this, cut interest rates, Rome. If he cuts interest rates, Trump will need to cut the tariffs. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. The Fed is always late, except for the 50 BPS cut right before the presidential election. Powell will probably do nothing, but it'd be nice if he did. That said, all of these other things, while everybody on Twitter is having an absolute meltdown about tariffs, and I understand why people are nervous about it. You see your 401k, crashing. You see every bit of news talking about, oh my God, this is the worst case scenario. But again, if you look at, I'm more concerned with the market continuing to bleed this morning. I mean, it's been 2 days. It's been 2 days. A lot of this chatter is from either leftoids who don't have any money in the market and just see it as an attack vector on Trump, or people who have legitimate money in the market and are concerned. And I understand why people are concerned. But if you look at this, in 2024, the U.S. total trade with China amounted $582 billion. With exports to China, so we sent China $143 billion, and imports from China at $438 billion, meaning it's 3-to-1. So a trade deficit of $295 billion. So China putting a 34% tariff on imports doesn't hurt us anywhere near as much as it hurts them. This will be negotiated. This is all about the art of the deal. And honestly, in the meantime, new manufacturing is going to spin up in America to fill these needs. Or other nations are going to negotiate their tariffs and see this as an opportunity. We just need time. How much time? Boy, I hope it's less. I don't know the number, but I hope it's less. But again, it's been 2 days. Let's see how many countries come back to the table and negotiate. We saw this with Canada. We saw this with Mexico. This is, people are going, let's see what happens in 6 months. Sure. We won't know for sure until we see how many countries bend the knee, but I suspect that many of them will come back to the table pretty quickly because they want American dollars. I hope you were informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it. Don't forget to check out Meta PC's link in the description. Promo code quartering to save. If you're thinking about upgrading your computer, now would be a great time to do it to avoid any potential price increases after April 9th. We'll talk to you again real soon.